It's day 3, and the money bubble has burst. Now, our attention turns to the potential champions buried in the field. Some have been there before.
Kevin Phase 1, the EPT! Ken Landmark is the champion! Nikolai Pavard has done it! Dimitar Danchev is the champion!
But only one is revered for being the first. Can the original champion become the EPT's first 2-time winner?
This is EPT 10, and it's my turn to win again.
Inside Casino Barcelona, players prepare for the closing stages of Day 3 of the PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona main event. From the 1,234 that entered the tournament, just 130 remain. All are now in the money, so sights turn to the top prize of over €1 million and the prestigious 10th Barcelona EPT title. Last time, there was extreme drama approaching the bubble.
We have 3 tables been all called.
Our all-in player has doubled up. We do not lose a player on table number 21. We do not lose a player on table number 11.
3 players were all in, no one busted.
One player failed to turn up on day 3 and was forced all in on the big blind. Despite this, Stefan Jedlicka shoved with aces, risking a split of the prize money with the absent player. But aces held.
We do lose a player. You are all in the money. Congratulations. You've just cashed at EPT Barcelona.
So just a few more levels to play on day 3. We are now well into the money. And excitingly, we still have 3 former Barcelona champions in the race.
But as far as Team Pro is concerned, Christoph de Meulder is all alone out there, shipped to last longer. He's taking a seat at our feature table.
Chris will be looking to outperform his twin brother Matthias, who almost final tabled this tournament 2 years ago.
How do we know they're not the same guy? Has anyone ever seen them together?
So tonight's feature table will play host to 50% of the de Meulder twins. Christoph hopes to follow in his brother's footsteps and make a deep run here.
The fact that Maddie taught me the game also means that we play kind of the same style. He's my #1 supporter, so we're just doing it for Team de Meulder.
Christoph's biggest threat at the table is undoubtedly the aggressive Brit Neil Farrell. He commands a top 10 chip stack and he knows how to use it.
If people know that you're not frightened to put chips and stuff like that, they're not going to come after you as much.
So roughly 10% of the starting field remain. How many will survive the day?
Alexander Stevich won 80K in that first EPT. Not bad for a 1K buy-in. Last year, Pabal walked away from Barca with a mill ball.
So Richie.
Kent Lundmark won less than Pabal, but you really can't put a price in becoming the most memorable EPT winner, can you?
Sitting to Lundmark's left is Albert De Heer from Lebanon. Currently second in chips with 914,000. The current tournament chip leader is Tom Middleton from West Yorkshire, known online as Hit the Hole. He's had some good results live as well.
Here comes Team Pro, Christoph de Meulder. Oh, wait. All Belgians are compelled to watch whenever Jean-Claude Van Damme's on TV. Kickboxer's playing. Oh, I hate that tongue po. Okay, everyone, time to put this to bed. This is Neil Farrell, despite how it's spelled. I've asked him, and I've got the tweets to prove it. Do we have the tweets? We don't have the tweets. You know?
Well, the other Brit on the main stage is Ryan Spittles, who won his seat for EPT Barcelona Online, and he is the qualifier we picked out. We expect big things of him. Ryan is third in chips at our 8-handed feature table, behind Finnish pro Kimmo Kokko and Neil Farrell. Kimmo's got a great seat with position on Neil and Christoph de Meulder. Massimo Maselli is the table short stack, with the blinds at 3,000, 6,000, with a 1,000 ante. Action folded around to Ryan Spittles. Deuce 4. That'll go in the muck.
Boy, your pick's not doing so well so far, is he? I didn't know Phil Hellmuth was at this table.
Massimo Maselli will fold the 8 tray. 10-6 for Jonas Lauk. 8-7 suited for Neil Farrell.
This kid's definitely raising. He said before he wasn't afraid to put chips in, but my guess is he's probably very afraid of long exposure to sunlight.
The raise from the cutoff is to 13,000. Jack 9 of diamonds for Christoph.
I don't know what Christoph is thinking, but this is a perfect hand to call with and take a flop in position. Oh, no, he's all hopped up on the Van Dam.
De Meulder, 3 bets from the button. Makes it 28,000 total. Ace 5 for Kimmo Koko. He folds. And Cesar Garrido in the big blind will also pass. Action back on Farrell.
Neil's in a spot where he should probably 4-bet if he wants to continue. He's out of position, and 8-7 isn't going to make top pair very often, which means you can't call for more than 1 bet most of the time.
He sticks in an extra 15,000.
So it's going to be pretty rare to hit a flop you like, so okay.
Yeah, that is the dream flop for Neil Farrell, an open-ended straight flush draw.
Christoph's flopped so badly that he's probably going to bet it.
Action has been checked to him. And Christoph will continue for 22,000.
Some folks are going to raise here, but I think that might be a little premature. If he thinks Christoph has a lot of bluffs in his range, he can call and then raise the turn or bet if Christoph checks.
Neil elects to check raise, makes it 61,000.
By the way, raising here isn't bad by any stretch, but I think there are lower variance options.
De Meulder folds. Farrell adds 66,000 chips to his stack. While out in the field, the eliminations continue. We've just lost a former EPT champ, Kevin McPhee, out in 126th place.
The 2-time champ contenders always seem to take a big hit on days 3 and 4, kind of like a cop that's 2 days to retirement.
Still in, this year's PCA winner, and the man who won the first ever Barcelona event back in Season 1.
See how they fare over the next few levels.
And how about a Barcelona runner-up? Ola Shemian is about to be knocked out by the guy who finished second to the guy who Ola cheered on to victory here in Season 8.
I think I follow that. Ola's behind, right?
He needs a queen. Or a heart. As things stand, Dragan Kostic is a 75% favorite. The river's a 6. Ola Shemian eliminated in 123rd place.
Maybe that's a little revenge. Shemian was anti-railing Kostic big time at that final table. Martin, enough! Looks like he'll be on the rail for this one too.
He'll collect 10,000 euros from the cage. And a nice pot there for Dragan Kostic. Well, he has to be concerned about having the tournament chip leader on his direct left.
Middleton, more like Leaderton.
Yeah, if we look at the leaderboard, Middleton is still number 1. Albert De Gea is still second. Kimmo Koko has moved into the top 10. He just eliminated Massimo Maselli. So 2 players in the top 10 are at our feature table, and 2 are at the secondary feature table. And those 2 guys now find themselves in a small blind, big blind confrontation. Action folded to De Gea, who has 8-3 in the small. He calls. Blaine with King 8 suited, and he checks.
8 tray is kind of like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Well, De Gea flops best, bottom pair, and he bets it. 6,000.
Okay, so it's a knife with a sharp little point.
Blaine calls with King high. Deuce of diamonds on the turn. De Gea now checks.
I like checking back here. I think any hand better than King 8 is calling, except maybe King 9.
Blaine bets 13,000.
Let's see if I'm right.
De Gea calls. 5 of hearts on the river.
Check.
De Gea checks again, and Blaine checks behind.
And 3. 3's good.
Threes.
I also think some of this could have been avoided had Blaine raised before the flop. It's a lot harder to rep a hand when you don't raise.
So Albert De Gea is back up over 900,000. He's been a runner-up in a WPT. He's got 2 EPT cashes, including this one. But just how big will it be? Make it to the final table, and you're guaranteed a 6-figure score. Win this thing, you get more than $1 million.
7 figures. Hooray!
Back at the feature table, we've got a new player, Alain de Baccarat. He folds. Jonas Lauch will also pass. Ace 10 for Neil Farrell.
Pharrell's up all night to get lucky.
He raises run of the gun +2 to 13,000. Kimo Koko has 8-9 suited.
Captain Kirko can certainly peel a flop here if he wants.
He's got position on Farrell. He's in the cutoff. He calls. Cesar Garrido. Yeah, if you're going to get a hand today, that would help. He folds the 10-4. Olvera gives up the small. Ryan Spittles folds the big.
So take a look at the percentages here. That's just how strong live suited connectors are. Almost a coin flip to a big ace. I know, Kirko, I know.
Koko flops a pair of 8s. Farrell has a gut shot.
Even though it looks like he missed, this is a great hand for Neil to barrel. He can still make a really strong hand, and he has a blocker to the nut flush.
His continuation bet is 19,000.
And since Neil raised from early, he can easily have ace king or better. Having said that, even though this isn't a stellar flop, Kirko can't fold with his pair and backdoor draws.
He calls. 3 of diamonds on the turn.
Turn's kind of the same story. Farrell can keep barreling if he wants, knowing there are lots of draws out there he can maybe get his opponent off of.
That is a bet of 37,000.
Looks like maybe Chemo's getting stubborn. Maybe hoping it's Neil who's the one on the draw.
Which is correct. Calling with the best hand, calling with 79% equity. 4 of hearts on the river.
Not a good card if you're hoping your opponent was drawing.
And Farrell is going to represent the flush, betting 98,000.
Love the way Farrell's played this hand. Chemo's only beating pure air, and it's hard to have pure air here.
He folds the best hand.
I think Kirko maybe could have folded the turn, but all in all, I think both guys played it pretty perfectly.
Neil Farrell up to 691,000, more than double the tournament average.
Played it perfectly, just like Spanish Kenny G.
If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com, where there are qualifiers every day.
Everybody eats so late around here. I am starving.
It's only 7 p.m., Joe. Some people around here don't eat till midnight.
That is late. If my wife doesn't have dinner on the table by 5:30, I get cranky.
Hang on a sec, you're not married.
Who am I thinking of then?
This year's PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona main event came close to breaking the tour record. 1,234 players took up the challenge, and of the 183 who made the money, 30% were qualifiers. And they include our boy Ryan Spittles, our online qualifier.
Sorry, I'm coughing because of the smoke.
Well, midway through day 3 now, so there's 2 more levels to play. I've got around 60 big blinds in my stack, so it's a playable stack. Just going to take each level as it comes. Hopefully I make it through to day 4, but if not, then at least I know that I've played my best.
Yeah, Hardigan, you would pick a guy who plays his best. Way to take the easy way out.
Well, Ryan's facing an all-in here from Cesar Garrido.
That all ends for just over 10 bigs.
Ryan's got 6s.
And at that amount, Europe, gotta do it.
He calls.
Gently.
We've still got the big blind to act. Alain de Baccarat. He passes. Well, Garrido is going to be happy to see that he is racing.
Not the best case scenario for either player, not the worst case scenario for either player. That's just a long-winded way of explaining a race.
The flop is Queen 7-3 with 2 hearts. 6 is still good.
About as safe a flop as you could ask for.
Wow, Garrido now has a ton of outs.
From 6 outs to 16.
He's got straight and flush draws, plus kings and 9s are still working for him. Garrido rivers a straight and doubles up.
Nice hand.
I was gonna say losing like that is the worst, but then I remembered mass deforestation.
Garrido's now playing 154k. Well, Ryan Spittles is known online as Scotty77. That's his middle name and his favorite hand. His biggest result to date was in a tournament in Las Vegas last summer. Out in the field, we've got bust outs aplenty.
David Benefield, more like David no longer in the field.
We've also lost Kitty Quo.
Always running deep, never win tournament.
More like goodbye, Kitty.
Which means only 3 ladies are left standing. Petra Hruskova.
More like petrified of me calling her at Homa.
Teresa Gronstad.
More like Teresa's soon-to-be Gonstad.
And Jamila von Perga.
More like Jamila von Marry Me. Okay, that one didn't work.
Joe, none of them worked. Back to the action at our main feature table. De Baccarat and Lauker in the blinds. Neil Farrell under the gun. He folds. Christoph de Mulder has ace-king.
Oh, hi. Let's get a good read on this situation. Throw out a little raise.
Raise.
The raise is to 13,000. Coco folds. Garrido has got pocket sixes.
Garrido doubled up a moment ago, but he's still got fewer than 30 bigs. He's got Chris covered, just. If he shoves, sometimes it'd get through.
All in.
He does shove. Folded around to the blinds. Jack 6 for De Baccarat. He's out. Lauk also passes. Christoph de Mulder quickly calls. And he's racing for his tournament life.
Garrido doubled up through sixes last time. Maybe they'll fare better this time.
Ace on the flop.
Should have known better. Sixes are not doing well today.
De Mulder with top pair. Make that top 2.
Doesn't help Garrido, but doesn't hurt him either.
I will hear it if the 6 comes.
De Mulder can't look.
Now I jinx it, I guess. Is there any wood?
I'm not touching that one. The wood, that is.
No 6 on the river. It's another king. A full house for De Mulder. And Garrido is down to 3,000 chips. He's been left with 3 antes. Christoph de Mulder now has 317k.
It was actually my brother who got me into poker. I think I started like a year later or something. He was already getting very nice results, making a lot of money. So I thought maybe I want to do that too. And yeah, I think we're now 6 years later. We're still playing poker. I'm pretty sure the poker world will think Matti is a better poker player than me. Maybe they should. He's a very good poker player, I have to admit. But they might underestimate my skills. And I feel very confident as a poker player. I know what I can do, and I also know what I cannot do. That's the greatest wisdom, knowing what you don't know. And there is a lot of things I don't know, but a lot of things I'm willing to learn. There's not really any rivalry between me and my brother. If we play tournaments, I mean, if I'm not in there, he'll be the first one I'm rooting for, and the other way around, it works the same way. We are very supportive for each other, and very often I'm actually more nervous when he's playing than when I'm playing, because when you're playing yourself, you obviously, you just have control of things and you know what's going on. It's obviously very nice to go deep in a tournament like EPT Barcelona. I mean, this year we're 1,300 runners. It's a huge EPT. It would obviously be great to win EPT Barcelona. It's been a dream for many years. Saying that you're an EPT champion is probably, as a poker player, one of the greatest things that can come out of your mouth.
I like how he said that he and Matty don't have a rivalry, then went on to say he's the first person to cheer for him once he's already been knocked out. Yeah, no rivalry there.
At the outer tables, Alexander Stevic is facing an all-in from Florian Dimitra Duta. He came over the top of Stevic's open.
For this many big blinds, Stevic has got to call with anything decent. And considering he raised from under the gun, you would expect him to generally have something decent.
Certainly giving it some thought. Well, he decides to call. Stevic has got ace-jack. Duta's got queens.
All in call on 11.
Well, this dealer's a tattletale. Stevic does have 3 aces he can hit.
Well, the flop is 7-6-3. 5 on the turn. And the river's a king. Duta doubles up.
Duta's ancient survives. What, doesn't anyone play MOBAs?
Do you know what, this occasion, I'm quite proud of the fact I don't know what you're talking about.
Nerd alert!
Well, let's head over to the secondary feature table. Albert De Gea raised pre-flop. Kent Lundmark defended his big blind.
Kent Lundmark!
The flop is 10-8-7. 2 diamonds, giving Lundmark a flush draw. They both check the flop. Lundmark now has a pair.
Check, check. Makes sense on the flop. Kent wanted a free card. De Gea had reasonable showdown value. Now Lundmark's got a pair.
Check, check on the turn, and De Gea improves to a straight on the river.
2 4-card straights out there, and De Gea's got the Dahummy end.
Lundmark checks a 3rd time.
Which tells Albert he's probably ahead at this point.
He bets for value, 28,000.
Nice polarizing value bet. Lundmark's no slouch, though. He's getting away from this. Look at this. He's out of body right now. He's back.
He lays it down.
Ken Lundmark! My boy Lundy over there makes the right fold so often that he has an honorary doctorate from Harvard in origami.
Albert De Gea playing a stack of over 900,000. He is closing in on top Middleton at the top of the leaderboard. 2 of the players at our feature table, Neil Farrell and Kim Okako, are still riding high. Let's get back to the action at our feature table, where we are going to sweat with a de Meulder. Christoph of that ilk. Action has been folded to Neil Farrell in the small blind.
Oh man, blind on blind hands are tough. I'm rooting for a walk. Dang it.
Not going to happen. Farrell raises to 17,000.
What do we got?
De Meulder's hand is ace-5.
Yep, gotta call it this. No need for a 3-bet because we're usually either a little ahead or real far behind.
He loves his TV time, this boy.
He's been on TV since he was like 6.
He calls for an additional 11,000. We go to the flop, which is ace-high.
That's top pair for us.
Farrell set to continue. He bets 20,000.
And we have to be expecting he's going to continue his entire range here, which is super wide, small to big, so of course we have to call this.
There's the call. 81,000 in the pot. Another ace on the turn. Trips now for de Meulder.
I'm starting to like this more and more. That was a weird little stutter step. Wonder what that means.
Farrell bets again, 35K.
Whatever, doesn't matter. We're not folding. It's kind of hard for us to be beat, but what makes me worried is it's also kind of hard for him to be bluffing.
Excuse me.
Must be allergic to betting in the trips.
De Meulder calls a 2nd time. 9 of hearts on the river.
This is not a good card for us. I am really hoping he doesn't bet again.
There are now 3 hearts on the board. The flop flush draw got there.
Where's your coughing now, Neil? Where's your coughing now?
He empties the clip. He fires the 3rd barrel. 78,000.
With that heart on the river, I think we gotta fold our hand. Neil could certainly have hearts in his triple barrel range, and pretty much no worse hands would bet here for value.
What do you have?
You'd have to have pure air for us to call. Matthias knows what Christoph has because they have creepy twin telepathy. Ooh.
Full house?
You have a full house? It's a good hand.
Wait a minute. Maybe that'll give Christoph the info he was looking for. I don't think this is a bluff.
It's the insane bluff.
I agree. This bluff would be fairly insane.
Are you gonna rub it in my face?
Hey?
I would never do that. I'm a gentleman.
What?
Mulder folds. Neil Farrell also had ace-5, the same hand.
Ah, that's terrible.
My ball just dropped under the table.
What did you fold? I thought I knew what you had, and then I wasn't sure. Might have been value betting the worst hand then. That's probably not what you want to hear.
No, it is not. But DJ Hardigan's taking requests. What do you want to hear? What's your favorite song to grind to? Hashtag it, EPT.
I only play Rihanna.
What the hell is this? I told you to order me the shrimp.
I did order you a shrimp.
This is one shrimp. It is literally a bite of food.
Joe, it's a tapas bar. All the plates are small. You didn't think you were going to get more than that for €2, did you?
Once you said you were paying, I didn't pay attention to the prices.
And now you know why I offered to pay. Bon appetit.
Welcome back to the PokerStars.com EPT Barcelona main event. With Kent Lundmark's table next to break, the secondary feature table will now play host to Season 8 runner-up Dragan Kostic and current chip leader Tom Middleton.
You know how before the break I asked everyone to tweet in their favorite grind song? The winner? TLC's No Scrubs. Weird.
Well, let's head out into the field, where Alexander Stevic has been 3-bet by Creston Nielsen.
Stevic ain't got a ton of chips.
Whoa, where's my sunglasses? Stevic 4-bets to 100K.
And he ain't 4-bet folding.
Nielsen shoves. Stevic calls.
You're probably ahead. Tens to flip.
It's a race.
It's been so much fun watching Alexander Stevic come back to the EPT. If he gets stacked by a guy in a golden bull hat, I'm gonna be steamed.
Stevic needs an ace or a queen. Doesn't hit. Nielsen doubles up. I think he's happy about it.
Yeah, story checks out. He literally could not be gloating over a nicer guy either. Dislike.
Big Toro?
Pretty difficult comeback.
Hey man, you know what I always say? All it takes is a few chips and a place to play them from.
Back at the feature table, Neil Farrell has 8-9 suited under the gun +2. He raises to 13,000. 5-7 off for Christoph de Mulder. He folds. Kimmo Kirko is out. Brens Feenstra has just arrived at the feature table and he's got ace-king on the button.
This might be a 3-bet.
This is only Feenstra's second cash on the EPT. His first came in this event last year when he finished 140th. He does re-raise to 31K. Action folded back around to Farrell.
I think 9-8 suited is going to be around the very bottom of most people's calling ranges here, especially since Feenstra's new to the table and Neil may not know how he plays just yet.
Farrell calls. The flop is King-King-8. Trips for Feenstra.
This is a very bad flop for Neil. Very, very bad.
He has paired his 8. He checks to the razor. Feenstra continues for 23,000.
Farrell's going to have to call 1 bet, possibly 2.
He calls the 23K. 125,000 in the middle.
If Neil improves, he's going to be in big, big trouble.
It's a third diamond on the turn, the queen of diamonds.
You'd think this diamond might kill some of the action, but in a 3-bet heads-up pot, you can't just immediately assume your opponent has a flush.
Also, Feenstra does have the ace of diamonds as insurance. He bets 68,000.
This is a great card for Neil to fold on simply because of board texture. Doesn't look like he's folding.
He decides to turn his hand into a bluff and raise to 169,000.
And I think this is only going to get other bluffs to fold, which will win him the pot sometimes, but I don't see any actual hands folding here.
Sure enough, Feenstra with his trip kings will call. We've got a huge pot now. The better part of $500,000.
Neil's gonna have to bet huge on the river if he wants his bluff to work.
It's the inconsequential 5 of hearts. Looks like Farrell is betting.
And boom goes the dynamite.
A huge bluff, 326,000.
Sick bluff. I guess you could say the Scotsman has a brave heart. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I do not know how often this bluff's gonna work. Especially against Ace-King.
Feenstra looks kind of tortured. And he's folding!
Wow.
Farrell's audacious bluff gets through.
My name is Neil Farrell. I'm 25 from Scotland. I got into poker, I started watching when they first started showing the hole cards, and it was quite interesting. I played a few games with friends and stuff like that, and just kind of went from there. Played a bit more seriously in university. Once I got my degree, took it up full time, and still alive, still going well. I did pretty well in Vegas over the summer, and people kind of know who I am now. And I think in regards to being under the radar now, I think it's kind of blowing. It has its benefits as well, because, you know, if people know that you're not frightened to put chips and stuff like that, they're not going to come after you as much. To win an EPT title would be amazing. I think it's the pinnacle of a lot of poker players' careers, and I mean, the money's obviously nice as well.
If Neil Farrell won an EPT, it would be the best thing to happen to Scotland since they stopped selling the King Rib.
Blinds are up to 4,000, 8,000 with a 1,000 ante. And at our secondary feature table, Dragan Kostic has just check-raised Tom Middleton on the flop.
Both have got top pair. In general, I don't like raising with plain old top pair. Good players are unlikely to pay you off when you're ahead, and they will generally make you lose more when you're beat. And hit the hole is a good player.
Middleton, who has top pair, top kicker, now 3 bets, re-raising to 250K.
Ah, now take everything I just said about Kostic's play and apply it to Tom's. You mad, bro? Why are you trying to scare off worse hands so quick, dog?
Kostic folds. More chips for the chip leader. Middleton now up to 1.1 million. You shuffle those cards, Renly Baratheon.
Nailed it.
To the outer tables, where Albert De Gea has gone to the river against Dimitar Danchev. Danchev has checked.
Board's paired. Not much else has happened here since the flop. Been a lot of checking up till this point.
De Gea checks behind. Danchev shows Queen 10 for top pair. And it's good.
National Lampoon's European Poker Tour Vacation starring Dan Chevy Chase. Who is writing this stuff?
So we've still got the reigning PCA champion, and we've still got our 3 former Barcelona champions. Last year's winner, Nikolai Pabal, looking to go back-to-back. We've got the Season 7 legend, Kent Lundmark.
Kent Lundmark! Stack 'em up, brah.
And of course, the original champion, the man who started it all, Alex Stevich.
Well, still alive, still alive.
Yay, hang in there, little buddy.
93 players remain as we head back to the feature table. Action folded around to Ryan Spittles. Jack 3 off.
Ugh.
Alain de Beckera has 6-7 suited.
All right, let's hurry it up now, Belgian Sidney Pollock.
He folds. Queen 5 on the button for Jonas Lauk.
Now, I know you're supposed to raise pretty wide on the button, but you don't have to.
He does raise.
Especially when the guy in the big blind is a team pro.
Well, Neil Farrell has folded the small. Jack 8, the hand for Christoph de Mulder in the big.
Actually, the team pros are probably counting on that. Go ahead, raise them. Just be prepared to have to bluff multiple streets with a hand like Queen 5.
The de Mulder defense. 9-9-3 on the flop. Queen high, still ahead. De Mulder checks.
Lauk working up the nerve to continue.
16,000.
Christoph is all, what could he possibly have here? And Matthias is all, Christoph, I'm going on a food run. Telepath me over your dinner order.
De Meulder calls. Interesting out-of-position float. A 10 on the turn, De Meulder now has an open-ended straight draw.
Yep, he's picked up enough equity that he can probably make a play for this pot.
When he checks a second time, Lauch still just with queen high. Yes, it's the best hand, but he can't be happy about it. It's not going to stop him betting again. 44,000.
And here it comes, kids.
I'm all in.
Wow, he shoves!
Wasn't expecting that. I do like the shove there too, though, because even if you get called, you're very likely to still be live. Call me Dana Scully because I'm a big fan of De Meulder.
Christoph now playing 293,000 as we prepare to evacuate the casino because it's coming right at us! Ah!
Oh man, still so hungry.
Maybe dessert will be more filling.
Yeah, what's a Hermano got to do to get some flan around here? Fantastic. Can I get like 7 more of these?
It's the last level of day 3 of the EPT Barcelona main event. And at our feature table, we are going to sweat with Christoph De Meulder. Your second chance, Joe. Now advise Christoph better this time.
James, I don't go to where you work and kick the broom out of your hands.
How do you know I'm a witch? Ace-8 is Christoph's hand.
This is a hand I like to stay away from, but on the button, I guess you have to raise it.
He makes it 16,000. Is Kim Ukako going to give him action? Nope. Rens Feenstra in the big blind. Looks interested.
Now, I've only seen this kid play one hand so far, and it was Ace-King. So in the words of Spock from the end of Wrath of Khan, remember.
He defends. The flop is 6-5 deuce with 2 hearts. Feenstra checks.
We could check or bet here. If we bet, it's basically just to protect our hand from getting outdrawn because no better hands are folding.
20,000.
I prefer to keep my pot smaller.
Feenstra quickly calls.
Don't love that we just got called, and from the BB, Feenstra could have all or none of that board.
King of clubs on the turn. Feenstra checks a second time.
Here I'm leaning toward a check back, but we can bet too and try to get something like a 6 or less to fold, but I'm honestly just not sure how often that happens.
De Meulder barrels for 42,000.
We're making this pot big without much of a hand. What the heck could he be stationing us with?
Well, he's called again. 168,000 in the middle. De Meulder the effective stack with 209k behind. The queen of clubs on the river. Feenstra checks for a third time.
Given how we've played this pot so far, I think our only choice is to try to bluff this river and bluff it hard.
I'm all in.
De Meulder shoves. He overbets the pot.
I would have preferred to keep this pot smaller the entire way. We definitely do not want to call.
Feenstra gets a count.
You're gonna have to tell me later what you had.
And folds. The best hand.
Again.
The fold.
Bad fold, good bluff, good Christoph, bad Stapes.
De Meulder now up to 377,000, being railed by his twin brother.
Chris decided to jump in and take over the torch. So yeah, now he's sitting there. He's going deeper and deeper. He's at the TV table as well. I believe he has a decent amount of chips, so who knows, maybe he'll even do better than me a couple of years ago.
I haven't seen a pair of Belgian twins this awesome since Double Impact.
At the secondary feature table, Tom Middleton's pre-flop raise with King 10 was just called by Parker Talbot with Ace King. Talbot's flopped top pair in the nut flush draw, but Middleton's got top 2.
And it looks like Talbot's gonna check call this flop, me likey.
Middleton continues for 28,000.
He's got to continue on a board like this. It's wetter than the abyss.
Talbot calls.
2 calls.
The turn card is the 6 of diamonds. Middleton now a 73% favourite. Talbot checks a second time.
My guess is that Tom's going to bet every street for value until a queen, a jack, or a heart comes.
He does bet again, 57,000.
Another fine spot for Talbot to just call.
That's what he will do. 218,000 in the middle. A heart on the river. Talbot has the nut flush, and he checks it.
Love the check here. If Tom had been bluffing, he'd likely bet this river.
He checks behind. Talbot tables a winner.
With the nuts.
Think both guys played it super. Thanks for asking.
Let's head out into the field because the reigning Barcelona champ is all in. Nikolai Pobal has made his move with ace-7. He's up against Kevin van der Smissen with king-8.
He is the favorite.
Still the favorite. Looking to fade a king or an 8. Just the river to come. Pobal doubles up.
Double up, double up.
Well, let's head across the room because now the original champ is all in. Alex Stevic has shoved for 79k. Action on Francesco Del Foco. He calls. And shows kings.
But there is still an ace in the deck. But it doesn't matter. If I lose, you are the guy.
Stevic hits his overcard on the flop. And no king on the river.
Alexander Stevic is sweeter than a dish of flan. You can't not root for this guy. I feel like even Del Foco is rooting for him a little bit.
Stevic doubles up to 169,000 with blinds at 4-8. He's got about 21 big blinds.
Sorry, my friend. It was my turn to hit the ace. I didn't hit it before. But I'm still alive. I will not celebrate right now, but
He's like Roberto Benigni when he won the Academy Award. I keep expecting to run over the tops of all the chairs.
With pleasure.
Just a few more hands to play, and then day 3 is in the books. Let's head back to our main feature table. Neil Farrell has raised from under the gun +1 with Jack-7 suited. Action on Christoph de Mulder. He folds. Kimo Koko has King-8 of hearts. He passes. Rens Feenstra has pocket 6s.
Kid keeps waking up with hands. Don't see any reason he'd go too crazy here, though.
From the cutoff, he calls the 18k. Spittles folds the small blind. De Baccarat has Queen-8 in the big. He also mucks. Heads up to the flop. 9-8 deuce with 2 clubs. Farrell has a straight draw and a flush draw. He's behind for now, but a statistical favorite.
This flop's like scraping off 2 matching symbols on a scratcher. Nothing yet, but still pretty exciting.
He bets 26,000.
And you already start spending the money in your head.
Feenstra calls 1 straight.
Peeling 1 off, hoping Farrell might shut down.
King of clubs on the turn. Farrell gets there.
Chance of shutdown, 0%.
Now he can bet for pure value.
And how?
45,000.
This was a very bad turn card for 2 6s, no club. I would expect to fold here a lot.
Alternatively, you can turn your hand into a bluff and raise to 110,000.
Not the worst possible idea, just the worst possible time. Much like the movie Phone Booth, Farrell is going nowhere.
Farrell just calls.
Snicky, snicky.
Deuce of spades on the river, pairing the board. Farrell checks.
Even with a massive bet here, it's going to be hard to get a fold from a flush. Feenstra would have to be repping a full boat, which would be tough to do since most folks probably aren't raising a set on the turn when the flush card hits.
205,000.
That's a big bet.
Farrell calls.
Super well played by Farrell.
And Feenstra having a tough time at this TV table.
Folded the best hand twice and got called with the worst one. Ouch.
And Neil Farrell likely to end the day among the chip leaders. We're heading out into the field once again because Alexander Stevic, the original EPT champion, is in action against Creston Nielsen.
Last time Creston hurt my little Alex, and I did not like that.
Got a 10-8-7 flop with 2 clubs. Nielsen is betting 28K.
136 all in.
A shove and a call.
Oh, wait, this one.
And Stevic is behind.
A 9 or a club.
Let's hope he's better at hitting them than he has a table in his hand.
A chin on the turn would be nice.
Big Toro wants to boat up. And he does with a 7 on the turn. That's it, Stevic is done.
Mon ami!
It lasted for quite a bit.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. This guy's been awesome to watch. Really great having him back here from season 1. Absolutely stellar dude, too.
The original champion cashes in 86th place for 12,700 euros on his return to the place where the EPT began. And that is one happy man in a vulgar hat.
Well, winning this 10 years ago and coming back now and cashing, I mean, I finished at 86th place from 1,200 something. Feels pretty good. This might be the best tournament experience, actually. It gave me back my passion for tournaments and poker in general. I feel very spirited again.
The first EPT had 229 runners, so Alex outlasted over 5 times as many players this time around. Not bad.
Meanwhile, it's time for players to bag up for day 4.
Ryan, we know you're happy, but you can let go of the bag now.
And Tom Middleton is the only player bagging more than $1 million.
Easy, Kostic, we got it.
So coming into day 4, Tom Middleton is the chip leader. Note that Albert De Geer has dropped out of the top 10. Neil Farrell had a good day at our feature table, and Christoph de Meulder will come back tomorrow below the tournament average.
I really had a lot of fun at the table. It was a very tough table with a lot of 3-betting, 4-betting. Some guys pulled some big bluffs. I pulled some big bluffs. So there was definitely some adrenaline going on, but I mean, at least I feel like I'm alive again, you know? If you feel the rush of blood going through your brain and through every vein in your body, that's what we play for.
Next time, the battle for first intensifies.
Kidding me?
Woo! Sick!
3 previous champs look to make history.
I can definitely see myself be the first 2-time champion.
And the last Team Pro standing has a single goal.
I just want to go all the way until everyone is out and I can just hold that trophy.